What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? I'm going to give it a couple of minutes kind of for the notifications to be sent out. It is Monday night. Come and join me on the live. We are Chit Chat Aladdin. Chit Chat Aladdin. I'm trying to pull up the comments, y'all. You know, I'm a struggle bus when it comes to like the internet stuff, but it's cold here in Georgia. Y'all make sure you send a hey in that chat so I know who's in here. But hey, welcome to my Monday night chat. We are chit chatting tonight about the episode that I did with the podcast today, but it was a while back that we shot it, maybe a week ago, not far, but we are talking about the prepper checklist. We are talking about prepping. We are talking about all those controversial topics that everybody talks about. So make sure you come in, hit that thumbs up, hit that hello, so I know who's in here. So we're chit chatting. Hello. Let me know who's here. Hello from the other side. Hello. Oh my God, let's see. There we go. Hey, Francis, what's up? Y'all hit that thumbs up. So yeah, it has been a week and it's only Monday. Ain't that some, you know what? For real. Ain't that some, you know what? So let me tell you, in the life of a homesteader, Mondays seem to be the one day that everything goes to shit. I'm just going ahead and say it. I'm just going to go ahead and say, and yes, Baldwin County. I'll just say that. Baldwin County. You know what I'm saying? So Monday has been crazy. Y'all, I'm excited because I finally got rid of my last rooster that I did not need. So now I officially just have one rooster. Just one. Just one, y'all. Just a solo dude and five hens. Five hens. So five girls, one rooster. Life is good. Because I started out with 12 chickens. Well, it turned out of those 12 chickens that 8 of them were boys. So one of my friends was like, "Oh, you want to come and get some 3 Easter egger hens from me for free?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm totally down." Well, I went and got them, and 2 of those 3 were roosters. Hey, Ronnie. Hey, girl. How you doing, honey? So got rid of all my boys except one rooster. I kept one Easter egger rooster. And because I need to breed for more egg layers. So now, thank goodness, praise Jesus, I am down to 5 girls, 5 hens, and 1 rooster. So that my hens will actually lay eggs without the roosters bothering them all the time. It has been struggle because I have learned, y'all know, as a first time homesteader, this is my first time with chickens and turkeys. We'll talk about turkeys. Don't worry. Um, I got my chickens and I was like, why are they not laying? They're old enough, blase. Hit up some of my homesteading friends and I was like, I'm just not understanding. What am I not doing right? What am I doing incorrectly? And they're like, you got too many dudes. You got way too many dudes in that chicken coop. So I went ahead and got rid of, I think at the time it was like 4 or 5 roosters. They came and picked them up. It was great. I was left with 2 because I was told that you should always keep 2 just in case that one rooster, can't perform. You know what I'm saying? So kept those 2. Well, that was kind of during the time that I was reached out by a friend and said, "Hey, I have 3 Easter egger hens. I don't like bigger hens. Do you want them?" And I was like, yes, I do. I really, really, really do. So I went to go get those 3 Easter eggers. Well, by that time, one of the roosters thought he was like head honcho. So every time, not me, but every time mom would go in to feed the chickens, he would like want to attack and fight and throw down like it was some like battle or something. So at that point, I was like, he's got to go. So I kind of like set up with a friend to come pick up the two roosters that were left, thinking I had four then, y'all, from one of my cage and three from another cage that were all girls. So girls lay eggs. Y'all with me? If y'all with me, give this video a thumbs up. So get those three, and then I start noticing again. I'm a newbie, y'all. I am a newbie to all of this. I start noticing neck feathers and tail feathers. I'm like, y'all, I got more roosters. And I hit up one of my good farmers market Judy's, and I said, "Can you just come out and just look at my chickens and and tell me which ones are boys and which ones are girls?" And she did. And she was the one that actually hatched my chickens for me. Brandy, shout out, love you, girl. So she came out and she looked at my Easter egg and she was like, "Yep, them's is two boys and you got one girl." I was like, this is a sign. Casey has too many boys at his homestead. It's time to get rid of the boys and start getting some girls. So another farmer's market dear friend was like, I really want an Easter egger roost so I can start breeding my Easter eggers. And I'm like, hey, girl, I got one for you. And she came and picked it up today. Praise him. Praise him. Because let me tell you, I was like, I have too many roosters in this chicken coop, y'all. I have too many roosters. But enough of the chickens because now they're good. Everybody in the chicken coop is who I'm keeping. I got 5 girls, 1 boy, and one of the little pins, I guess you can call it, in my chicken coop is a boy and a girl Easter egger. So boy and a girl, that equals fertile eggs. For those that don't know, don't come for me in the comments if you think I'm saying stuff that shouldn't be. I'm not going to say anything political, but everybody knows what the T is. Okay, it takes 1 boy and 1 girl to equal 1 baby. Come for me if you want to. Anyways, so they're in a separate pen because I want to make sure that I am incubating and breeding the Easter eggers, not the bantams. I have some bantams, and some of them are sweet, but one, Coco, she's mean. Not really with it. Not really into the Polish. I have 1 Polish. Not really into those eggs. I'll keep those for like eating eggs. But my Easter eggers, I want to produce more of them so that I can have more Easter eggers. Yes, I am destined to have boys. Ain't that girl? Who would have thunk? Who would have thunked it, right? So, anyways, onto the breeding side of my coop, right next to my Easter eggers, their little cage area, and I'll do a video, not a live, but a video of where everybody is my turkeys. Now, y'all know I started off with 8 turkeys, 8, and I was so proud of myself, y'all. I got them all to like 8, 9 weeks, which is the hard part because turkeys are dumb. I don't really know how else to say it nicely. Turkeys are dumb and they want to die. And I got them all through it. Now, wait. Now, a couple weeks after they got to 8 weeks, I guess the boys started fighting. And one of my turkeys was, when I came back from church, I guess boys have like battled it out and one was dead behind the water bowl. So that sucked. But then I had 7, right? I'm 7, so excited. I'm like, yes, I kept them alive. They're great. They're wonderful. Because I thought in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going to breed some for meat and I'm going to have some of my baby mama and baby daddies. Hey, how are you? Thank you for coming in. So, I got to take a sip, y'all, because this story, my throat is parched already. So, it was crazy enough that when I had my friend come over and check out my turkeys, she was like, I hate to tell you, but you have 6 boys. Y'all see my face right now? I was not feeling it. I was like, boys, again, I just got over all of these roosters, these darn roosters. She's like, yeah, you got a lot of boys. You got a lot of times. And I think they were probably like 12 or 13 weeks at the time. Right? Oh my goodness. Hi, Nana. How are you? Thanks for coming in. So, at this point, I had raised them together. I had raised them, it was like the 11 chickens, the 7 turkeys. I'd raised them all together. But then when they were about 9 weeks, I put them out in my chicken coop, which is about 5 acres back. It's not close. So I wanted them to be old enough to be able to protect themselves. So we took them out there, and in that pen, I was very blessed when I bought this house. It was already done. This chicken coop had a big giant chicken area and a medium giant turkey area. So I put the turkeys in that, put the chickens in that, and I guess they turned into enemies overnight because tried to pull them out at one point and they weren't really feeling it. They were trying to fight it. I was like, you know what? I'm not in the mood to like break up fights for dominancy. Don't care what it is. Not in the mood. So I separated them. And then from that week on, every day I would let the chickens out and then put them up. And then I would let the turkeys out. Now, about 10 weeks, 10, well, no, but maybe about 12 weeks, I let the turkeys out by themselves, no chickens. And I'm tired because, at this point, we're shooting the podcasts until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm making videos for YouTube and I'm standing there kind of like zombie, half asleep. And I got WWE turkey throwdown. I got 2 turkeys fighting on one side, boys, and then another 2 on the other side. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm like banging the stick. I said, break it up, break it up, break it up. So then everybody stops and look at me like, what is that crazy, doing? I say, y'all break it up. And the first one over here, it's 2 of my gray blue slates. And over here, it's 2 of my red bourbon boys. So they're the same, fighting. And it was like tag team, y'all. Then they switched. It was one red bourbon switched with the blue slate, and then they fought again. I was like, it's time for me to get rid of the boys. Hi, Andy. Hope you're feeling better. So I was like, got to get rid of the boys. They's got to go. So I decided I was going to keep one boy and one girl because, again, this is a very controversial topic, but you need one boy, one girl to make fertile eggs. So I did. I kept them. And I kept the one male Tom that was the most docile. He was sweet. He was kind. He was sweet. He was a little bit slow, a little bit, but he was sweet. He was kind. I was like, you know what? That's what I want. So weeks go by, and I think they're almost at 40 weeks now. They're getting big. And my Tom has decided he wants to throw down with me every time I let him out. And when I say throw down, I don't mean something that I can be like, oh, and he runs back to his coop, scared. He's like, Yeah, I call your bluff and I bet you tenfold kind of thing. He was like chasing me around the chicken coop a couple maybe about a week and a half ago. And literally, I tried everything. I called my dear friend Monica over at Bland's Promised Land Ranch, and I was like, girl, what do I do? This turkey wants to eat me, and I'm a big dude, and he wants to eat me for lunch as an appetizer. What do I do? She was like, okay, go ahead and make loud noises and show him that you are the dominant one. So I did, made those noises, and he was like, bet, homie, I can be louder. So he decided to be louder to me. So I was like, okay, now what I do? Still talking to Monica, Bland Promised Land Ranch on the phone. She said, pick him up. You are bigger than him, Casey. Pick him up. So I did. Grab the little you know what, the little mother you know whatter up, and I had him in my arms, and he's sitting there like this, y'all, like looking around like, oh God, what did I just do? Why am I in this dude's arm? Like, oh, this is not good. I messed up. And Monica's telling me, okay, remember, I'm on the phone. And she's like, hold him for 10 minutes. So I'm that crazy person that is like, hey, Siri, set 10-minute timer. So my phone did set a 10-minute timer. I got like a 10-pound turkey in my arms. He's looking crazy, like he's defeated. Alarm goes off. I drop down the turkey, let him drop down. And I say, when his feet hit the ground, y'all, he shook off for a minute and darted back at me to attack me. I was like, Monica, that didn't work. She's like, you're bigger than him. So I had my snake boots on, y'all. I kicked him football kicks. Like, I'm talking like UGA is punting for the win. That turkey back into the pen, close the door. We're good. So, this long story to say, me and male birds do not get along very well. That's how chicken was. Girl, let me tell you, between chicken and turkeys, I'm telling you, I'm tired of fighting birds. Now, I will say that I know before I get comments on the rewatches or the people in the comments now, I know that my Tom Turkey was only probably trying to protect his hen. And I respect that. And I'm glad that he is that aggressive for things that he feels are a threat because I want that. That's what I want. And that's one thing that Monica did tell me is Casey, don't get mad at him because he is protecting his area. He is like if a snake or a possum or a raccoon or anything was to get into the area, he's throwing down for the throwdown. And that's what you want. But he shouldn't be throwing down with me because I'm the one that feeds you. So he's been in timeout in his area since then, which has been about a week. And I will go in to change his water and stuff, but he's not allowed to walk around with me no more because I'm not fighting you every day I'm going down there. I'm tired. I'm trying to homestead, podcast, shoot videos. I'm telling you, that was one thing I was like, because he's big. He's probably at my waist right now. So he's big. He's not little, even though he's young. He a big boy. And I've learned now that I'm just gonna build him his little run, let him go out in that area so I can clean up. Because even now, when I would go into his pen to like clean up, just like dump the food bowl, clean out the food bowl, fresh waters, he wants to throw down and fight. And I'm like, I am not in the mood to fight with you right now, pimpin'. Like, come on. So we have a little system now of how we're feeding and how I'm getting water. Because I'm not in the mood to football kick him every single time I go in to get a water. But I know you have to show, listen, I'm not scared of you. I'm not scared. I'm bigger than you. but I am over boys. I am over roosters and I am over turkeys, toms. Because the girls are as sweet as they can be. Like we call her Princess. She is our hen for the turkeys. She is the sweetest. All she wants to do is like stand right up against my leg and like walk with me. As I take a step, she takes two steps just to make sure she is right beside me. She's so sweet. And it's like she's looking up at me and she's like, I'm sorry about my husband over there. He just don't know how to act. He ain't got no couth. He ain't got no home training. Because she got him. It was so funny. They were both on their perch and I was kind of cleaning up around and he was puffing up and he was hissing at me, looking like he was going to come for me. And she looked over and she pecked at him and he creeped down like he was all scared and jumped to the corner. Like she was like, tell him, like, didn't I tell you act right? So it was very funny. So just saying, my girls are sweet, except one of my girl chickens. She's a bantam, and I know bantams are known to not be the nicest, but she's little. Y'all, when I tell you she's probably maybe that big, not big. We call her Coco because she is so like a beautiful, like three colors of chocolate, like tan, medium brown chocolate. She's gorgeous. Um, but she's mean. But listen, I do one step towards her and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Kidding. Haha, funny. Um, she not like the turkey that want to throw down. She's like, okay, I was just testing you. But nobody tells you before you go into homesteading or farming that chicken raising chickens and turkeys is not like you see on YouTube, where it's beautiful and everybody runs out of their coop and goes straight to the food bowl. That's not how it happens, y'all. Just gonna let you know that is not how it happens. It's not. And let me tell you, Miss Andale, be glad you ain't got no roosters, you ain't got no boys, because I'm telling you, boys ain't no fun. And nobody tells you before you go into homesteading that one, we all know, listen, unless you're like brain dead, you know that if you want to breed chickens or turkeys, you need a boy and a girl. Okay. Because everybody knows girls lay the eggs, boys suck up the oxygen in the chicken coop. Hey, becoming a green stalker. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Right. I'd be glad too. But everybody knows that you need a boy and a girl to produce more eggs, fertile eggs. Listen, girls can lay eggs, but they're not fertile until you have a rooster. But nobody tells you that most of the YouTube channels that you're watching and that you see this beautiful, like, okay, they open up the coop and the chickens run out and it's beautiful and magical and they slow motion, you're pouring the feed. That's because they got all hens. They ain't got no roosters. They ain't got no boys. They ain't showing that. They're not showing the ones that they have to kick to the side to get that good video of all the hens. um and so I am here to tell you, you see me raising my hand as a newbie homesteader, don't fall for the hype. It is a beautiful lifestyle, but let me tell you, the chickens and the turkeys is a lot. It's a lot. And don't go into it thinking it's going to be super easy and it's going to be magical and you can have great posts on Instagram. Yeah, no. Let me just say, it is it is not how it's supposed to be. Hi, friend. Hey, Papa Jim. It is not how it's not how it is. Let me just say, it's not how it is. Um, go into it knowing that you may have to kick around a little bit of rooster. You may have to kick around a little bit of toms. Oh, you're so sweet. I don't do much. Listen, I only got chickens and turkeys. A lot of my homesteading friends got way more than that. This is first year on animals, and I'm like, listen, I had a deep conversation um maybe about 2 days ago with my turkey because we are putting a lot of money into cages and coops and all that kind of stuff for meat birds next year because I am going to be raising meat birds and meat turkeys to sell and for my family. So me and my Tom had a man to man conversation, and I said, "You better get on your knees and pray to Jesus that you are the only Tom in this coop, because otherwise you will be on my dining room table." And sometimes you have to have those conversations with your animals. Now, Alicia, friend, maybe not for you, maybe not for the vegetarian, but for ones that do it for meat, you're kind of like, thank your lucky stars. Thank your lucky stars. Because if I didn't need you, you would be with Rosemary and Butter right about now. Hi, Annette. How are you? Girl, let me tell you, I would say the same thing a couple days ago that I love my garden, but I'm gardened out. Let me tell you why I'm gardened out. So it was a lot this year. We did a two times the garden we did last year. And the green bell peppers are still producing. I'm talking like I haven't watered them. I haven't taken care of them since maybe September because I was done in September. No, mid October. I'll say mid October. No taking care of, no pruning, no watering, no fertilizing. I'm still probably getting 40 or 50 bell peppers a day. I'm like, can y'all just die, please? Please. Let me go back and think. Okay. Oh, what did my turkey say? That he's going to eat me to open the door and show me what a real man I am. That's what he said. That's what he said. He's looking at me. He's like, yeah, okay. You're talking that big talk. Open that pin door and let's see who the real big baller is. Oh, another vegan. Sorry. Yeah, friend has two toms, eight roosters. She has no issues with the boys. I have all the issues with the boys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sending them over to Alicia's house to play. Good night. Thanks for coming in. I've been good. I've just been telling my stories on dealing with roosters and toms, and then I'm over them. Let me quench my throat, y'all, and then we can get into the conversation about prepper, which is probably what most people are popping this up because I said about prepping. And we had an amazing podcast come out yesterday. And that is myself, Alicia from Country Mama Musing, Ann from Andel Homestead, and Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch. We do a podcast, and we were tagged in this podcast. We were tagged in this post. Alicia, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Maybe about a week or two ago, and I'm not going to go into the post or what it said or what it did. That's not what this live is about. But what the post was kind of pushing is that you need to be prepared just in case there is an off-grid situation coming up in our future, or if there is a another, yes, okay, 1 or 2 weeks ago, not much. Or if there was another war that was to happen. I'm just going to be direct and say it. I don't really know how else to say it. Just trying to be politically correct. Y'all know that ain't me. So, the four of us on the podcast kind of had a last minute meeting, and we were like, listen, we've probably shot all of our episodes for the year. Um, but this is a topic that we've been being tagged in a lot. And we're tagged in a lot. And don't get me wrong, we are so appreciative of y'all tagging around the hay bale in these posts. It it makes us feel really good that y'all think of Round the Hay Bale podcast when you think of prepping or preparing your pantry or off grid anything. That the first thing that pops to your head, you're like, okay, let me tag. It's our podcast, and we really do appreciate that. So we had a meeting. The four of us, we were talking. We're like, we're pretty much done with this fourth season that we've just done. But we feel like we really need to make this podcast. Like we feel like this topic is something that's really important. We feel we need to like dig deep and like do an extended episode. And that is what we did for y'all. We shot a couple weeks ago, right after we got tagged in this video. We decided we were going to shoot an hour and a half podcast, which our podcast is usually an hour, on prepper checklist of what you should have on your homestead, things you should have, items you should have, but also 4 printable recipes. And it was all included in this downloadable PDF file that's on our Etsy store. I'm going to pull it up in a second to show you. But we just thought it was probably the most meaningful podcast that we have shot in over 50 episodes, because we've shot over 50 episodes in this podcast now. So that says how important this was to us. I'm just going to pop up because one thing about our podcast is Alicia and really all of my hosts are a lot more knowledgeable on certain like factual stuff than I am. I'm kind of just the pretty one on the podcast. I am just the pretty face, and I just kind of go along. I literally go to Alicia for my information anyway. Off our podcast, off YouTube, off all of that. Me and Alicia will chat about what's going on, information that she has gotten from a family member, and that's where I get my information, and I trust it 190 billion%. So I'm just going to pop her comments up, read them, take them as you will. If you don't buy into the stuff, don't read it. We're not trying to force anything down your throat, y'all. Let's not, like, I'm not trying to give you like a pill from the doctor or anything. Yeah, I'm just giving y'all a little bit of information. I will tell you, let me tell you, and y'all, I will say, I'm going to push this too, because Annette does have a wonderful channel about prepping on a budget, which is so important right now. Y'all, I can't even like express to you how important prepping your homestead, and it's not fear mongering. It's not doing any of that kind of stuff. It's just being a responsible adult if your homestead was to have issues. And we can put all of that grid down stuff aside. What happens if there's a tornado or a hurricane or a flood or snow or something like that hinders you going out and getting stuff at your homestead? That is what this episode is about, and that is why it's so important. So I'm biased, but I think you should go and listen to it. And oh, you are the pretty one. thank you, and then thank you. Don't give him big head. Please don't. Don't give me a big head. Um, I mean 3 words. Alicia just mic dropped on y'all. 3 words. Supply supply. Y'all. Supply chain issue. I'm just saying. And listen, anybody that is watching or lives in, I'm stepping on my cord, y'all. That's what I'm looking at. Lives in a rural or more country area knows the struggle. You know that it's not like you can drive 2 minutes to go to a Wally World or go to a Kroger and get what you need. Most of the time, if you live in a rural area, it's 30 to 45 minutes going to a grocery store or going to a big box store. And why are we supporting these big box stores who don't support us? Like, we should be supporting the local homesteader, farmer, rancher, etc. Add your extra names to this list. And that's one of the big things that we push also is that try to find it local. I mean, you could probably get it plus getting it secondhand, local and or secondhand, which is kind of local if you think about it because it's somebody that sent it to like a Goodwill or something and got a tax credit, and let's not go into all of that kind of stuff. But it came from another person because you never know when you're going to need it. Okay. This is hands down probably the most important episode that we could talk about. And I don't get too like serious about a lot of our episodes. I love all of our episodes that we shoot, but there are certain episodes that I am hands down really want to push hard with every ounce of being that I have, with every ounce of following, um, subscriber viewership that I have. I'm about to sneeze. Hold on, because I'm about to mute myself. Back. Um, and so when I put out these lives about these certain topics that we talk about, you can know that even especially here at Ormsby Farm, that I back it, that I'm very passionate about that topic, and why it is important for you to listen. Take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to do. I'm not about to read one of the comments that just came in, but just make sure that you are prepared. That's all we're hoping for, is that you are prepared as an adult. Being community sufficient, yes, it's so important. Exactly. It is so true, John. It is. Listen, and I say this over and over and over in our podcast. Alicia says it. Ian has said it a couple times. Monica has said it multiple times over 3, 4 seasons. Is that learning a skill or learning a new skill that we talk about on our podcast, or we talk about prepping or having, is not to fearmonger. It's not. It's not to fear you into thinking what we believe, which we hope you listen to our views on that kind of stuff. But it's not to scare you into anything. It's just to prepare you. And learning a skill just makes you a better human being going forward. It just does. Listen, it just makes you a better human being. when you're living this lifestyle, you can never stop learning. And the time that you stop learning new tricks, new trades, new ways of doing things is when you should be buried 6 feet underneath. If you get what I'm saying. And that's all I'm going to say on that topic. I'm just going to say that's all I'm going to say on that topic because I know I will probably get some emails tomorrow on that. And that's all I'm going to say. Learning shouldn't be a political conversation. It shouldn't. Literally, we are not doing what we do, which is Alicia, Country Mama Musing, Anne, Andel Homestead, myself at Ormsby Farm, and Monica at Bland's Promised Land Ranch. We are not doing this because we're trying to turn you to our team or turn you to our political views. That is completely so far from the truth. What we are trying to do is help you learn. Exactly. Never pass up an opportunity to learn. Never pass up an opportunity to learn because it is very important. In this episode, we talked about exactly peace of mind. One, peace of mind, knowing that you have it. And this episode, besides it being an hour and a half, so it's longer than what we normally do, we are talking about some of the best things that you should have to be prepared on your homestead. Listen, I'm not going to go into a lot of them because you should go over to Etsy and get it for yourself. I'm trying to pull it up now as I'm talking. Okay. So the easiest way to get it is to go to Round the Hay Bales Linktree link. And I'm going to share it right here. So basically, if you go into our Linktree link, which is if you do our QR code, which is usually on the screen when we go live for our morning show, which is tomorrow, by the way, it brings you to our Linktree link. You have all these different fabulous links that you can get from our YouTube. You got our different ways to listen to our podcast. You have all the 4 of our YouTube channels. You have all of our affiliate links that we do, which you should totally have in your pantry. Just saying, between Kelzyme, 4 Jars, and Augustin Farm, I mean, they're amazing. All 3 of those companies. But now we kind of have a new one, and it's our Etsy shop. And our Etsy shop is great because, is it going to show it on my... No, it's not. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Because it went to a different screen. Y'all, technology, it drives me like batshit. You know, as I'm over here cussing. Share. Let me get to that. And then I'm going to go back to the comments. I promise I'm not missing your comments. Okay, here we go. This is our Etsy shop. So on our Etsy shop now, it is our hay bale prepper checklist. And let me tell you, besides having the checklist on there, which is watermarked, so y'all can't screenshot, y'all. Yeah, y'all know how some of y'all is. It also has 4 must-have recipes from all of us. And Alicia, me, and Monica are all in this. I mean, I think it's a great deal for $2.50. And of course, it's not showing it again because I don't know why Etsy opens it in like 5 billion different folders so you can't share it. Let me see. There we go. So back to it. It's our checklist, and it comes with a little checklist of stuff that you should have. What we feel, we and we did this on the podcast. We talked about the top 5 things for each of us that is most important to us to have on the homestead, in case of a grid down or a hurricane or a tornado or a winter storm or whatever it may be. but it also had a recipe from each one of us. Look at Ann. Look at Miss Andale right there, y'all. Look at Miss Andale. Y'all give Miss Andale some love. Um, so go check it out. We think it's a great kind of download and thing to have to again download and print and keep in kind of like a folder um for future needs. We truly believe as a podcast that you should be having some of this stuff that is printed and not just necessarily on a YouTube file or on a YouTube video. Oh, so let me go back to my comments and chat with some of the comments. Let's see. Y'all, I'm telling you, to get the full story on this, you really need to go over to Alicia's channel and encourage her to do some more lives. She used to do a live every Wednesday morning with coffee, and it was wonderful. Encourage her to do it more so she can tell you these fabulous stories. But have a good night. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's see. Mo has a it's important, Annette. I'm telling you, it is so important to make sure that you have these things set up in place. And listen, there are some things that you would never think about having stocked up. Let me tell you a little bit more, and I'll give away one of my secrets for the free. And that is milk powder. And it's one of my choices that is on the downloadable list on our podcast. Let me tell you why milk powder is so important. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in depth. One, milk powder is different from powdered milk. So if you have a traumatic experience as a child with powdered milk, give this milk powder a little bit of a chance. And it's Nido, Nido. Let me see if I can pull it up and share it. On now, I always have it for those of y'all that follow me heavily. I have it on my Amazon store. And it is wonderful. It's about $15. And it is great. And I'm going to share it right now on how great it is. And this is what I'm talking about, the NIDO, the Nido. And Nido I love because you can do so much stuff with it. I do, of course, the standard milk. I can make milk from it, whether it is I'm going to need it for cereal the next day or whether I need it for a recipe. Or y'all, I have even made a pint of the Nido and added some vinegar in it, and that's like a that's like a sub for buttermilk to make like buttermilk pie or buttermilk pancakes, that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things that I love Nido for. Um, for those that are in the small or close to the small town of where I live, know that we sell a hot cocoa bomb during the holiday season, which is like a big chocolate bomb that you drop into a hot cup of milk and it explodes and melts, and then you stir it up, and it's a delicious cocoa stuff inside of that hollowed chocolate. And the cocoa mix that I make for me and my family is from that milk powder between milk and sugar and hot cocoa and some other stuff. Not going to give away my secret. It's the Nido milk powder, and I'm so excited for you to try it. I'm so excited. They're so much fun and they're so delicious. Another thing that I do with Nido is, did you know? Listen, I'm a big bougie. I'm gonna try to move it where I'm not the small one. No, I want to make sure that I still. Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, I want to make sure that you'll know how bougie I am. And one thing that I do bougie wise is forever I would do, "Hey Angie, how are you? Thanks for coming in." And Jackie also, "Hey girl, thanks for coming in." Is I love my creamer for the coffee. And I'm bougie about my creamer. So from January to maybe about mid September, I am all about hazelnut creamer. I love a hazelnut creamer that gives it that hazelnut flavor. I like to hold up my pinky when I'm drinking my coffee and keep it moving. But right, right when it hits fall, you see the air quotes, fall, y'all. I am about pumpkin spice creamer. Okay. And then I do pumpkin spice creamer until the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And then at Black Friday, I am white peppermint mocha creamer until January 1st, and I'm back to hazelnut. So, that being said, y'all know I'm bougie with my creamers. So, as I'm like doing my kind of like monthly grocery haul, checking to see how much money I'm spending. I'm like, why am I spending so much money on creamer? And I looked up a recipe, and this you can add with powdered sugar and your seasoning of choice. And you got the powdered creamer that you buy in the store. So there you go. You see, I'm on number 3 of what you can do with this. And y'all, don't worry. I'm going to do a video on how to use this Nido milk powder as I take a sip of my cocktail. So that's number 3. Number 4. And I'm going to show you how to make all of this on the video. So don't think I'm just going to talk about what I'm talking about and then it's going to disappear and I'm never going to talk about it again. But number 4 is, did you know that you can make mozzarella cheese with that milk powder right there? I'm just saying, it's easy, it's simple. So you have all of your milk needs. Oh, number 5, cream-based sauce. Whether it's an Alfredo or cream-based sauce to pour over scallops or seafood, I use, you guessed it, the milk powder sauce to make this cream base. And in all of my videos, I've done a lot of right. I've done a lot of meal in a jar recipes recently, and a lot of them you can get um, the recipe from Country Mama Musing. Boop, boop, boop. Her channel, because that's where I stole it from. And it's a cream-based sauce, which is so good, which is like a mix between like flour and milk powder and sour cream powder and some seasoning. And it's wonderful and it's amazing and it's delicious. And it turns all of your meal in a jar dishes into like high quality restaurant meals. So that's number 5. And again, I'm going to do that video and kind of show you um, all of the type of things that I do with my meals in a jar and my milk powder and how I use it. But stay tuned for that. Yes, love me some cheese. How is it different from powdered milk? That's a really good question. And I milk powder, I know for a fact, well, it's really the way that it's processed. And I'm trying to pull up a really good term that I can um, give you on there, but I know that uh, milk powder is freeze dried. Um, I think when you get into all the different machinery and the different pasteurizing and all of that kind of stuff is how the powdered milk powder thing differentiates. Hopefully, Alicia's going to save my butantang in the chat and tell me what the difference is because she truly knows. What is the difference between Nido and the instant non-dairy powdered milk. Nido is one, it's whole milk, and it's pasteurized once. It's not ultra pasteurized. One thing that I've noticed with the non-dairy pasteurized milk is that it's ultra pasteurized, which means that it's been boiled and boiled and boiled and boiled and boiled till one, all of that dairyness has been boiled out. And Nido is the one that is pasteurized but not ultra pasteurized. Um, so so it's kind of like having a really good whole milk, if that makes sense, with Nido. With Nido. Now, this one I don't use, so I can't tell you the difference between that. And yes, it's Scrumptious. I hope I said that right. But it's so good, y'all. It is, and I use it in my mac and cheese. I use it in my scalloped potatoes. I'm not going to give you any more ideas because you need to go over to the channel and watch the meals in a jar. But it is so good. Um, and listen, I buy 2 or 3 of the number 10 cans of milk powder at a time because I just use it that much. And one thing that I do, again, let me parch my throat, is any freeze dried items that you get, let me just say, whether it's the milk powder, whether it's the cheese powder, whether it's the meat or whatever it is, has a shelf life once you open it, once you pop that seal. Now, if you don't pop the seal, most of the freeze dried foods that you get, milk powder included, is 25-year shelf life. Okay. So if it's not open and you just put that number 10 can, which the picture that I showed you before is a number 10 can. If you do not open it, it's 25 years of shelf life. See, Alicia's the one that taught me to get milk powder instead of powdered milk. So hopefully in the chat she'll kind of explain the difference. But so back to what I was saying on the freeze dried is 25 years if you don't touch it. You don't touch it, you don't open it, you don't do anything. But of course, all of us are curious. We're curious people. We want to open it and sample it one time and see how it is. That's wonderful. If you want to do that, one thing you should do is you separate it into pint or quart jars. Use your 4-jar lids, because if you use 4-jar lids and you use Hey Bale for 10% off, you can get your 4-jar lids for 10% off. Anyway, back to what I was saying, vacuum seal it. Then you got a 10-year shelf life. Okay. So you've opened it now, you've tried it, you've now separated it into whether it's quarts or pints or whatever you're separating it in. You've used your 4-jar lids and you've vacuum sealed it. So now you have 10-year shelf life and you can kind of open and pop it open as you want to use it. And out the web pepper. No, don't open it. If you have to open it, okay. If you have, I'm just saying, try not to. You should probably buy something to put aside as a stock up. But I'm terrible. I open mine, I use mine, but I separate it into multiple quart and pint jars, and I vacuum seal that because I want to use that going forward. But milk powder is in about face, 100% different tasting. So I guess it tastes different. I know they did. I listen, y'all. I wanted to have the best of the best up here on my live tonight. And hey, Christina. and I invited the best of the best off the wall prepper and Christina at Dragonfly Homestead to come up. So I may have to just drop an invite and see if they come up and in the chat so we can kind of talk about and oh, he said he's gonna come up. Same thing with Alicia. Alicia at Country Mama Music. She has the StreamYard link now. If she'd like to come up and have this conversation, it's very important. They can kind of um it's dropped. It is dropped. Y'all come on in. Oh, we have I have a taker. I'm waiting for his stuff to get connected. It says his device is not connected yet. So we'll wait for it to get connected. But it is, I wanted to bring up some of the best and the most knowledgeable for this podcast because it's important. And here he is. So if he gives me a thumbs up, that means that he's ready to come up and I'll pull him up. Huh? What's up?
Oh my gosh. I apologize. I've been working so hard around the homestead, Casey. Hi
Listen,
everybody.
it,
Hello.
it first of all, it's because oh, he's got that reverb.
Let me turn it down. How's that?
It's because he is so popular and famous and has all these people. He never checks his email.
Well, I've been getting like 5 to 10,000 emails a day, so it makes it really a little crazy. But I wanted to add something to your
Yeah, I was
live.
about to say, talk to these folks about the importance of prepping. Oh,
Well,
I hear my voice. Do I really sound like that?
does it sound okay?
I still hear me, but I mean that could just be my dream.
I want to say that, a lot of people have misconceptions about prepping. And
Mhm.
honestly, the reason that I ever got into prepping is because I got broke into in Los Angeles. When I lived in Los Angeles, um, I was in the Navy, got out of the Navy, moved up to LA, and I woke up at about 2 in the morning and there was someone in my room. And I realized that sometimes, even in your own home, you're not as safe as we assume we are. And so that got me kind of into the prepper mentality of, prepping. There's so many things, and I talk about this a lot on my channel. One, spiritual prepping, getting over mental prepping is going to be one of the biggest obstacles for people when you don't have the luxuries that you're used to, like electricity, water, food supply, which we've seen happen. I mean, at the beginning of 2019, we've seen the supply chain break down. And I think many people don't take it as that. They think that all preppers, I like to have a lot of fun. I like to laugh on my channel. We talk about conspiracies and all kinds of things. But
Yeah,
what
I
it
was about to
really
say they think that preppers are the psycho crazy
yeah,
live in a hole with sandbags, gas
right.
mask kind of
And a
thing.
bunker. Don't forget the
Right.
bunker and the aliens and the spaceships and let me go on. But really, to me, prepping is a way of life. I think that one of the best things that I could tell anybody is there's a wonderful, wonderful book out. It's called The Lost Ways. And The Lost Ways taught me a lot. The Lost Ways is a book of knowledge from our ancestors dated back into the 1800s, how to take a dandelion and actually eat that dandelion from the root to the top, how to forage. See, skills they could never take away from us, even if we have a food breakdown or if we have so many rumors of war right now going on. That aspect of things, if we have the skills of first aid, CPR, there's so much to prepping that I could sit here for hours and hours and talk to you about it. But I think the most important thing is to learn those skills. Wonderful book, The Lost Ways. Absolutely wonderful. I have a thing going on my channel right now, and I'm actually giving away a PDF of The Lost Ways for everybody that becomes a member on my channel.
Oh
And they not only get The
wow.
Lost
Y'all go
Ways,
over.
Not only do you get the Lost Ways, it's only $1.99 to join, right? So you can join for 1 month and say, "No, forget it. OTWP, you're too much for me," right? But you get the Lost Ways 1, the Lost Ways 2, and the Lost Foods. You get all 3 of them. You can download all of them, and there's some great, great info, and of course, my phone is never charged, Casey. Of course, my phone is never charged, so it's about to die. But I think that, don't get misconceptions about preppers. There is a lot of fear mongering. There's a lot of channels that they thrive off of the views, and that's all they want, and they don't care about the people. I personally think that it's more important that we come together as a community because everybody has a different set of skills. And when we bring them all together and we really become a community that's uplifting each other, I have different interests than you do, Casey. You raise animals. I don't really have animals right now because we live in the forest and
Listen, they
it's
still keep on
dangerous.
acting up. I ain't gonna have animals either.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big thing is that people need to come together as a community, and instead of bashing anyone, uplift them, lift them up, share out their channels, go and see what they're all about. And if you're getting something positive from their channel, then partake in that channel. If not, there's millions of channels. But like I get tired of all the fear mongering, and it's gave prepping a really bad name, a really bad name. Um, I would say
So
the best thing for everybody that they can do is be down to earth. And we're all on different preparedness journeys. You know, um, I've been prepping so long that I don't even look at it as prepping. I would never even call myself a prepper. I was just living life. And
you're like one of the top preppers for me, yeah, on
thank you.
YouTube.
What about
Well,
me?
the ones that I listen to.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Casey. I appreciate that. And you've been around the channel a long time. Um, I've been outspoken on some things, and yes, I got slammed on YouTube for it. YouTube didn't like it, but I stand up for what I believe in. I guess maybe that's the prior military thing. I believe that we can't always capitulate to what the agenda or the propaganda is, and we got to look outside the box and look for truth, but also I've learned my lesson on YouTube. I restrain my tongue now a little bit.
Which
But
is no fun.
no, but I can understand if I was giving medical a real touchy subject right now is tinctures and medical advice on YouTube. And I can understand because
Which
I don't
is
want
crazy, huh? Can I
yeah.
just say, yeah, y'all know that if you followed me for a while, my kind of degree-ish of stuff, it was in nursing and that kind of stuff before I got into acting and all that kind of stuff. So tinctures and stuff, when I look at it, has been done for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
This is not something new that
No.
a prepper said, "Hey,
Do
I can make
this.
money on YouTube. Let me do this." This
Right.
is actually stuff that our ancestors did way ago.
Yeah.
Like I'm
That's why
talking way ago. So just do your research. Your research. Don't listen to what anybody else is saying.
yeah.
If you have some type of feeling about it, is say, okay, let me look it up. Okay, off the wall prepper and Casey said about this tincture stuff. Look it up. Don't take our word for it.
Well, and
But
I
when you
think that
find out it's the best, then email us.
right. But I think Casey, that's great words of advice because I'll be honest, I hate to go to a channel. I dislike it when I go to a channel and they say you got to do it my way, my way, my way. Not everybody. My channel originally started from a series called Prepping on the Cheap. And when I say prepping on the cheap, what I mean
We
is
like that.
taking things around you, utilizing them, recycling them, and utilizing it to go forward. Not everybody has big bucks to throw into prepping. The average prepper per person throws in 150 bucks a year. That's not a lot. I would say the big three. for prepping when you're if you're just getting started is one, water, water purification. Most people take water for granted. Without water, you have 2 to 3 days. You're going to get dehydrated. You're going to get sick, and
He's
then
gonna die.
you're going to die. But food, number two, which a lot of homesteading channels talk about, you can go up to 30 days with no food. Yes. Oh my gosh, my stomach. I went and have my apple pie and pumpkin pie I just ate this week. But, we, right? But food, thinking long-term food and canning food is wonderful. It is wonderful, but it has a shelf life.
I was about to say,
Freeze-dried food,
but
freeze-dried food is the
Mhm.
key. It is expensive, okay, to buy a freeze dryer. So if you can't afford that, there's some great specials on Amazon. One of my favorite thing is brown bag MREs because when you open this MRE, it is like a full meal and it has the heater, you have water, you have a snack, you actually even get all your condiments in a packet. So you get a full meal that could actually be broke down with two people for one day, and you would get enough calories. So brown bag MREs, I recommend MRE stars. MRE stars. Okay. So you got water and food. And your third one would be very important is to be able to build a fire no matter what. Learn how to use a ferro rod. Don't just talk about it. Also, you can use stainless steel wool because it has a chemical on it. So you can use chemical wool with a D battery. I did a really cool demo about it. And you take the D battery, push it onto the steel wool. The steel will blow it a little bit. You got you a fire. You can also use magnesium shavings.
let
You
me
ever
just
play
say,
with that?
OTWP. You were on a live maybe a week ago, and you talked about saving your dryer lint
Yes.
on one of the things, not
That's
only for fire starter, y'all,
Can you give me a
but
magnesium?
to stuff your pillows.
Yes.
Isn't
There's so many uses for dryer lint. Building a fire with dryer lint's
Mhm.
really cool, right? A bag of magnesium, you can go right here in my drawer, hun. Right there in my desk drawer so I can show them. So I started prepping on the cheap and we always have dryer lint, right?
Mhm.
So there's all these ways you can use
Everybody
dryer lint,
does.
Casey. You can use it to restuff your pillows. You can use it to start a fire. And one of my go-tos is these little bags. This is magnesium shavings. So what I do is I take a little cotton ball and just a little tiny pinch of magnesium shavings. I actually sell these little bags for $3, right? Because I get gobs and gobs of magnesium. But what you do is you take the shavings of magnesium or some dry tinder with a cotton ball and a piece of aluminum foil and just a tiny, I'm talking a tiny dab of Vaseline. Okay. Wrap it up in that aluminum foil and you can pull it out, let it set, wrap it up into like a little square. And I have a demo on my channel about it. But then you can pull it out, pull a little tiny square of that cotton out, and it will start a fire immediately. Fire is really important because think about it. In the winter, our power goes out, and our grid right now is very, very fragile. So you can do that. You can also there's so many things you can do to start a fire, and fire skills are very important. I have this kind of thing with fire because when I was in the Navy, I was at ABF. I worked around
He's a
Hewley.
pyro, y'all. He's a
Yes, I
pyro.
am, and I did a really awesome fireball trick on my on my live stream. I told him not to try it at home, but I actually hold a fireball in my hand. So yeah, I like fire, but I think that you have to have respect for fire. And living in the forest, trust me, I have a lot of respect for fire. We get a fire out here, and we'll be in serious trouble. So let's talk 1 minute before I have to jump off here because winter's coming. Right? It's almost here. It's getting chilly. How's it? What's the temperature there, Casey?
Well, I'm in the South, so we get the wish it was the winters. It's probably about 47 low is what it is tonight. Not
Well,
terrible.
we've already gotten down into the 20s and 30s here in the Ozarks in Missouri at night. So that's chilly. And we live in a cabin that was built 20 some years ago, so it gets cold, but if you turn on the fireplace, you get blasted out. And so what I want to talk about for 1 minute, Casey, because winter's coming, is fireplace safety. So when we first moved into this cabin, me and Dragonflies, I paid someone because I had tore my meniscus. Okay, so we paid someone to come and clean out the fireplace, go all the way up on the roof, clean it all out. Well, he didn't clean out the 45-degree angle bend that goes out of the cabin. So we're having a fire, and I went to put it out, and it would not go out. The creosote had built up so bad it was getting ready to start a flute fire, and the house filled with smoke, and I was panicked. I had a very small fire extinguisher. So one, I would say get on point, have an extra fire extinguisher for an emergency. As you can tell now, wherever I sat, I got fire extinguishers everywhere. I went over the top, but this is to protect me, my family, and my home. I have little fire extinguishers. I have big fire extinguishers. I have fire extinguishers hanging on the wall. I got fire extinguishers. The other thing is, if you don't have the capability or the money to clean out your fireplace, this came from a fire chief, okay, is use aluminum cans as you're burning that fire. Aluminum can will help get rid of the creosote in the flue. The other thing is every year, make sure you take all your ashes out, check for broken bricks inside your fireplace. That's really important. Replace them. They're like $3 to $5. You can do it yourself. It's just remove it and put it back in. That's it, y'all. You just it's like a puzzle. You pull out one brick, you replace it with another one. You can get them at Home Depot, any of the big box stores, hardware stores, whatever. You can get these bricks. Um, I think with winter approaching, yeah, it's a fire brick. I think with winter approaching, everyone needs to get on point. I want to show you one little cool thing before I jump off here. So if you have a fireplace like us, and you can see our fireplace here, we're getting ready for Christmas. So I pulled down Christmas decorations. But
It's beautiful.
this little guy right here is absolutely awesome. I paid like $30, I think, on Amazon, but then I found them on Macari, which is a resale place. You know
Do
that
you have
just
an
like
affiliate link for that? OTWP?
no, I don't. Um, so I got this off of Amazon, and you set it on top of your fireplace, and as the fireplace warms up, the fan starts going. There's no motor or nothing, heat operated, and it spreads that heat out around your property. Very, very great, great item to have. The other thing that we have is a big old timey kettle, because you're going to need to put moisture back in the air if you're using the fireplace a lot.
I live
So
for
this,
that. You could just send that. You
woo,
can
that
send it
thing
to
is
me.
monstrous. Yeah, it's monstrous. But you know, y'all, this is the problem: is all that creosote gets built up in there, and it's very dangerous. And I'll tell you what, when the fire department came here, I actually had to meet them at the road because they couldn't find our little cabin. And my heart was beating. I got dragonflies out of the house, the dogs out of our house. It was the middle of winter. And I'll tell you what, folks, when you have a situation like this happen with a fireplace, you'll never forget it, ever. And so if we can prevent people from having a fire in their home this year, you know, things are replaceable, but we can take the precautions as homesteaders, preppers, whatever we want to call ourselves. Let's just call ourselves being a little smarter than the average, and
Call
let's take
ourselves
this
human beings.
yeah, let's take the time to clean these up. And when you see smoke barreling out at every crease, and you see smoke coming out of your fireplace, your heart will sink, and sometimes it'll be too late. When those start, it literally took it literally took 6 to 8 hours. The next morning, the creosote was still burning out in the front yard that they made a pile of it. That's how serious it is. It's like coal. It just won't stop. I hope, Casey, thanks for inviting me up. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you're part.
Thank you for coming up
Most
and giving
definitely.
these folks some info.
Oh, I could rattle. We could rattle for hours, Casey, but,
Hours, hours and hours and hours and hours.
there's a lot. There's a lot
Mhm.
about prepping. But
There
don't
is.
think every prepper's crazy. I'm a little crazy. I like to have fun and I like to laugh, okay? But really, when it boils down to it, folks, think about your basics. Don't listen to everybody that says you have to buy this and buy that. Recycle, repurpose, and get some knowledge books, a book for foraging in your area, because we know that the food chain's breaking down. And I think that it's really important that we all get on point about food. God bless y'all from here in the Ozarks. This is OTWP. And Casey, thanks for having me up.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna drop you off. Thank you so much for
Hey, hold
coming.
it. Hold it.
Huh.
Give me one of those big prepper homesteader hugs, buddy.
Hug, 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 hug. You see, I'm patting
Hug.
behind the
See
camera.
y'all. Thanks,
Bye,
Casey.
y'all.
We love you.
Love ya. Thanks for coming up, y'all. I'm telling you, I told you I wanted one of the best to come up, and this was it. And I wanted to show some of these comments right here. Alicia put up. Also, make sure you clean your pellet stovepipes as well. It is important. And I'm so glad that OTWP talked about that on the live tonight of how important it is to clean out the pipes of your wood burning stoves, your pellet burning stoves, whatever it is. Winter is upon us, whether you live in the south, which is what I do, which the wish it was a winter, or whether you live up north. Um, Indoor solar lights too. That's so important. Y'all, let me see. Christina's giving me topics to talk about now, and that's why I love her to death. So let me tell you about solar lights. So this is funny kind of story. Is as YouTubers, we get hit up all the time with emails from companies that are like, hey, try our product. Hey, we'll send you a product for free. Hey, try this. So one was sending me about these solar lights that are supposed to scare off predators. Now, let me tell you, reading it, I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work. But I was like, okay, I will try it out and see if this solar light works. Let me tell you, first of all, it's in my Amazon link. I ain't scared to share it. It's in my Amazon link. It is, it's like a flashing torch that truly, knock on wood, doot, 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 has saved my chickens and turkeys since I've gotten them, which is about maybe about 6 months now that I've had them out in their area. And it's this solar light that was really meant for like a small or indoor solar light. It's supposed to be for those little parties that you have that you want to make it look like a tiki bar. That's what I got. Um, so yes, that's my story about the mini indoor lights. I got a oh, the mini chainsaw. So funny story. I'm gonna turn into Country Mama Musings channel and talk about stories. But when they hit me up, they were not like, "We Casey, we want you to do the video." They were like, "We want Mama Susan to do it." So talk to her. She's in the room next door as I'm going live, and I said, "Hey, Mom, company hit us up, and this is the product. And do you want to try it?" And she said, "Yeah, I'll try it." Let me tell you, she loves. Let me enunciate more. She loves that product. It is amazing. It's great. The charge lasts a long time, and it does cut down thick little trees. We have a video on our channel. Go check it out. This mini chainsaw is amazing. Amazing. I'm just trying to say, but no. mm, Remember, getting my throat, y'all. Um, Listen to what OTWP was talking about how there's a lot of other channels that are trying to fearmonger and get you in, and people get such a how I'm trying to put it. they get such of a misguided information on prepping, that they see something like prepper or prepping on a video channel. They're like, it's those people. Our episode that me, Alicia, and Dale, and Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch put out is important. It is important. Go and listen. Just give us a little listen. Listen to the first 15 minutes. One, if you're not laughing or if you're not enjoying the episode within the first 15 minutes, go ahead, cancel it out. But I promise you, you won't be. You'll be laughing because we're a hot mess, hot mess express. But when we do these preppers episodes, it is to educate more than to scare or to fearmonger or any of that kind of stuff. You just want to be prepared, y'all. I don't really know how else to say it. Oh, Angie, let me say you need it, girl. You need it. It is the best thing ever. My mother, and she doesn't mind me saying her age because she said her age on camera before, but she's 67 and she can use it one hand, no problem, cut something down, done. Oh, yes, you did. Alicia did it too. And I'm not going to say Alicia's age on camera because she'll come down from Iowa and chokehold me. But she did it as well. So it's good for single women in their older age, not crazy older age, but in their older age to have and use. It's something that you need to have on your homestead because husbands may not always be there. Sons may not always be there to use a big, chainsaw. But hey, how are you, Cherie? How are you doing? There's a couple of me of prepping at homestead. Prep setting. Oh my gosh. Can we just change all of our channels to that now? Because that's so true. Because I'm prep setting. Listen, I think it's very important. And this part that I'm probably going to say now is probably going to rub certain people the wrong way, or I don't know. It's just, but I feel like I need to say it after I parch my throat. Mm. And Dale, were you not sent one? Let me just say that that's crazy because Andale, who's the most famous person in my chat, the company needs to send her one of these chainsaws immediately. If they don't, I'm gonna send you ours to try. It's the most amazing thing on the planet. Anyways, okay, let me get my life together before I talk. So, as we're talking about prepping and prep setting, whatever it is, my channel, when we went into it, we are city folks. Wait, before I start the story, no. Oh my gosh. I'm emailing them tomorrow. I'm emailing them tomorrow. They're not getting away with this. This is blasphemy. This is why the government should shut down. I'm telling you. Saker, I think is how you say it. Y'all need to send Andale a hand chainsaw. For real. Just saying. Y'all wrong for that. Y'all wrong for that. Somebody with over 160,000 followers and you ain't sending them a mini chainsaw. Y'all wrong for that. Just saying. I got you, Andale. Don't worry. I got you. I'm going to tell them. But yes, okay, story time. So, and again, if you are sensitive on topics and don't want to hear certain topics, then this may be the time that you may want to click off of the live. But I started my channel as a city homesteader wanting to go country. And for most of the y'all that follow me know that I am an openly gay man as well. And the crazy thing about the fear mongering and the how certain people feel that we are supposed to have our channel is they're like, how can you be this way, Casey? And oh, then you push this, then you push prepping, or oh, you push homesteading and being self-sufficient, but you're openly gay. It is bizarre to me. It is bizarre to me that we look at it, homesteading and prepping and all that kind of stuff, as a political thing. Like I said before, we look at it as a political thing, which it really isn't. And don't get me wrong, because most people will email me and say, Casey, what's your political view? You will never know. I like to vote American secret ballot. Just going to say that. But why are we not taking the opportunity as an American or as a person or as a human being to learn new tricks? This, and again, this is nothing new that is being taught on YouTube. Our ancestors did this. Everybody does know that, right? Like everybody in the chat knows that this is not homesteading and prepping and canning. This is not a new thing that was taught. This was done for survival years, hundreds of years ago. So we're just trying to teach you how to survive. And one would look at that as being grateful that you have a channel saying, hey, I want you to survive. I want you to do this. I want you to know. So learn these tasks, such as canning. Y'all know my channel, we're here on my channel, I'm big into the prepper pantry side of stuff. I'm newly new, newly new on learning the prepping of everything else. And that's why I watch OTWP and his channel and a lot of other wonderful channels and learn from my fabulous co hosts of my podcast on different ways, like the Pyro Granny and Dale, on learning that kind of stuff for your homestead. And what does it hurt to learn or to know certain topics? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it a big thing now when somebody pushes it out there? Like, one of my most favorite, when I tell you favorite videos from Andale on her Instagram, and if you have not gone to follow Andale on her Instagram, what's wrong with you? Are you not on Instagram? Is she taught me that the Crisco, which I thought was only for baking cookies. We'll take a sip of drink after that. The Crisco that I thought was for making cookies was actually a way to make light for a long time. And she shows you on her reels how to take the Crisco, a wick, and a straw. 3 things. Are y'all watching me on this video? 3 things. And how to turn it into a candle for the cheap for stuff that you have in your pantry. Learn it. I agree. I am looking at what's bizarre to me is that when people hear nowadays, when people hear something like prepping, the word prepping scares people to where they're like, ooh, that's political. Is it though? Is it? Let's be for real. It really isn't. Back in the day, all political parties used those type of tools to keep warm or to prep food or to grow your garden. Because listen, back in those days, if you didn't grow it, you didn't eat. Let me say it to y'all again. Back in those days, political views aside, if you did not grow it or can it or raise it or shoot it or butcher it, you did not eat. Had nothing to do about your political side or of your views or whatever it is now. What the government is trying to tell you right now is that if you are in this mindset of wanting to grow your own food or wanting to can your own food or wanting to, I don't know, live like how we lived hundreds of years ago, how people normally lived, then you are this psycho crazy conspiracy junkie that is spewing false information to everybody in the universe. It is crazy to me, y'all. It is so bizarre. And remember, I'm looking at it as someone who has not been in the homesteading lifestyle for too long. We're going on our third year here at Ormsby Farm. Third year, 3 years we've been here. And now, when I went into it, I was a little more open to views than some people, but I'm trying to make it make sense. Let's sit here and make it make sense, y'all. How if how because you want to can your own food and be prepared or know how to grow or raise your own meat, does that make you some psycho conspiracy like alien? How? Let's, let's make it make sense for a minute, y'all. We can't. We can't make it make sense. There's no way to do that because that is what our government is telling you. And let me tell you, it is false. It is incorrect. It is not true. All of the people. Let's just go back to probably my grandparents. My grandparents, I'm 36 years old. So, well, let's just say average 60 years. Let's just say 90. My grandparents are 90. Both of them have passed. God rest their souls, but they have passed. They would have, their generation beyond would have done that type of thing. What you don't raise or grow or hunt or forage, you don't eat. And it's bizarre to me to think this is like some type of new thought process because it's not. It's not. And the funny thing is, I was talking to some friends at the farmers market maybe about a week ago because it's almost farmers market time again. And we were talking about stuff about eating in season. And if y'all don't know what eating in season means, and I'm going to go back from the comments because I'm seeing a lot of great comments and I really want to highlight them. But eating in season. So during the summer, and I'm in zone 8A here in Georgia where I live. Um, during the summer, what do you want to eat the most of? Something that's not too heavy, right? You want to eat something like meat and vegetables or meat and a salad to kind of keep your beach body nice or, all that kind of stuff. I don't really look into that. I'm okay with being fat and going with it. But then you got the winter when you need to put a little bit of meat on your bones to stay warm. and you have like the potatoes and the heartier foods and all that kind of stuff. And those veggies become ripe or harvestable in that time frame in the winter. I think it's so magical how God has made this timeline for you and said, okay, if you eat with the seasons, your body will be healthy. Your body will be healthy. Summer, you got the salads, you got the summer veggies, the squashes, the zucchinis, the tomatoes, the peppers, all that kind of stuff that is really like summer salad, stir fry kind of feel. And you feel lighter in the summer. So you can lose a little bit of weight. So you're what? Beach body ready. Okay. Then you got October that hits, and the potatoes are ready. Your onions are ready. Um, I don't know when rice is ready, but I know I buy rice during that time. Um, and then you got the winter kind of months where you're stocking up and doing more of the heartier roasts and crock pot meals and all that yummy, delicious soups. And then you're eating those potatoes because you're putting on weight to keep yourself warm for the winter. And again, I go back to how magical it is because God creates this for you. God is letting you know this is when I believe these crops, or I know, I'm not going to say believe, know when they should be good. This is how you should be eating. And we nowadays think, oh, well, I can eat potatoes whenever I want to, or I can eat salad whenever I want to. Well, if we're going back to our ancestors, which is what we were talking about, they couldn't because they were eating what you grow is what you eat. And body wise, they were healthier. And don't come for me in these comments about medical kind of stuff and they died younger than. I don't want to hear it because I get it. I know. Don't come for me because I'll probably read you for filth. But what I'm saying is, our ancestors that grew up and ate this way were healthier. They were in better body form than we were as Americans. And this is coming from a chunky fat boy. I'll admit it. Like, I should have eaten more with the season, more organically, more raw than I do. But they worked hard. They worked hard. Right. Uh, don't forget cinnamon rolls. Correct. And I will not. No McDonald's. That's so true. I also dated Cinnamon. She's on. Y'all are tripping the chat. Y'all are tripping half. But no, they did things that were more natural and organically healthy for you. Therefore, they were able to live their life how they did. And yes, I get it. They didn't have the medical advancements that we have now, but they didn't really need it because we have added so much stuff and shit to our diets that we need the medical stuff to get us out of the doo that we've got ourselves into because we're eating this processed foods, these things that have all these chemicals added to it. Our hips are bigger, our butts are bigger, our stomachs are bigger because of the processed stuff that we eat. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. Y'all have tuned into my stuff because you're being for real, for real. Are we going to be for real and talk about it? I'm just saying. And that's a big thing. You know, when I got into homesteading and got into being a homesteader and selling my products, that was a big thing that people were talking about. I was like, Casey, you're a homesteader. Why are you talking about the sugars, adding your sugar to this, and it's true. But There are things such as the cane sugar or unbleached flour, which is what we had back then. We have grown accustomed in our head to go to the grocery store. First of all, whenever we need anything, go to the grocery store and say, "Oh, I need some sugar. Let me grab this sugar. Oh, it's $5 for a 4 pound bag, whatever it is." Well, it's bleached. And listen, listen to Casey as I say this. It is just as bad as you hear me say it. Bleached is just like when you pour that bleach into your laundry to whiten your whites. Same thing. Same. No different. It's no different. It's the same. Bleached means turned to white. Okay? Because sugar does not look that way when it's harvested. Flour does not look that color. It does not look that way. Now, the way you blend it, it could look that way. It could look thicker. Y'all know. Don't come for me in the comments that way. But it's not white. It has a little bit more of a brown tint to it. And if you buy cane sugars, like if you buy it at Azure Standard or any of these bulk buying sites that you can buy it from, it looks different. And if I wasn't on here right now and had people watching, I would run back to my pantry and show you the difference between white bleached sugar that you can buy at the store for cheap, or cane sugar that is a little bit more expensive but healthier for your body. Think about all these things that we're putting into our body now. So we're adding in like a white bread, and I'm gonna tell you because I'm a bread person. Buying white bread, you have to have a sugar because the yeast is not going to rise or activate or do what it needs to do without sugar. Let's just put that in there. It's very hard, I'll say, to do breads without a sugar because that's what the yeast eats. But it's now eating this bleached sugar, chemically bleached sugar, a sugar that has been chemically modified now. And you're putting that into your body. Okay. I can see why people say that makes you sick, or will say that makes you fat. But if you do it all natural, yes, it's probably not as wonderful for you, but at least you're not putting bleach into your body. Listen, our ancestors did the carb stuff, and I get it. Some people are completely anti carb. I'm not going to do carb. I'm this, and this, whatever. Your body needs everything. Your body needs the fat, it needs the carb, it needs the sugar, natural sugar, not bleach sugar, the sugar, the protein, all of that kind of stuff. Your body needs all of that. That's why there's a triangle. Is that what they're saying now? Triangle of food that you need to eat. Um, and when we start cutting stuff out, that is when we start messing up our body and messing up the rhythm of our body of digesting and um, taking food out that social media is telling you that you don't need, but you kind of need a little bit of it, like fats. Everybody's always like, ew, fats. Ew, no, I can't have it. I gotta be skinny, whatever. There are good fats. There are good fats that you can eat. Carbs, they're like, ooh, no, oh, I can't do carbs. Ew, no, I'm keto. I can't do carbs. There are good carbs. There are good carbs. One of them, I will say, beans. Beans is one that is it's a high carb, but it's what you need. Back in the day, one of the most popular things, look it up, was rice and beans. That was a way to get your protein and your carb in, even though both of them are carbs. Get your protein and carbs in. When you were poor, to fill your tummies of your children and fill the tummies of you and your significant other. But because we have all these chemically moderated stuff that are the bleached white rice, or you don't know what they put in those. Here, I'll just say this: buy a can of the cheap beans at the store. Just buy one randomly. Just buy one. They're 50 cents. And then come back to my channel on this video and in a comment, type me what the ingredients are. And if you can tell me what all of those ingredients are, like English terms, I'm not talking about like the crazy word and it's like, oh, it's that. No, I want English word. I want crazy word equals English word. Okay. Write that in my comments and I'll shut up. But a lot of these canned items that we buy in the store now have so much preservatives and stuff that we don't even know how to pronounce or don't even know what they are, that you can't even say if it's healthy or not for you. But old school dried beans that you have to rehydrate and put a little bit of time into it, and rice, unbleached rice, um, was the thing that people used. It was a way to fill bellies, and it's delicious. I'll tell you, it's really good with a little bit of like homemade garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder, homemade, and like toss that into with a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Oh my gosh, I'm just saying. Let me see. Okay, so before I go back out and log off, let me see if I can find some of these comments. Yes, don't eat as much sugar. That's true. This is also the one that just asked me about cinnamon rolls. Just saying. There's a, I'm telling you, y'all, it's crazy. And that people don't know this is like, are your ears cleaned? Have you cleaned them out lately? Are your eyes like, have you cleaned them? I mean, like, for real, for real. We have somebody coming for horrible fast food. First, let me just say about the chemicals in the food. It's terrible. If you go to a fast food now, it is terrible what the chemicals and preservatives and stuff they have put in our food to make it taste yummy. And listen, I'm not going to say that I'm totally against that because sometimes I want a double cheeseburger from McDonald's, but I know that it is killing me softly with his song, as Tony Braxton said. Or is it Tony Braxton? Killing me softly with his song. I don't know. But the Indians use wild herbs for healing. Yes. Yes. We talked about that with OTWP. Like it's crazy to me that we think that herbology and all that kind of stuff is something foreign to us. It's not. It's not foreign to us. We know our ancestors have used that. It is bizarre to me. It is bizarre that we are are taking it and saying it's some this new fandangled like hippy dippy whippy kind of stuff. It's not. It's not. Just saying. Yes, it's not white. Flour and sugar is not white. It is tan. You see that right there? It says tan. Tan. It is not white. So when you open that bag from the grocery store, I want you to think about my voice. Hear my voice. It is not white. Okay? Just saying. I don't, I don't either. I make my breads now. Listen, it tastes different. It's better to me. Just saying. Twinkles. I don't know what that's for. I guess you're saying me. Yes, I'm very much twinkles. Me too. Me too. When I'm telling you I love it, and what I add a little bit in it is a little bit of salsa, of my homemade salsa that I can because I love salsa. Add it with the rice and beans. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Right. And because it's so cheap, but buying rice and beans and putting it in your 5-gallon bucket with the correct lids. Let me just say that. Let me just say, claimer, disclaimer. Don't think you can buy any 5-gallon lid and put it on there. No, it needs to be the Gamma lids. Please do it. Go to our store, go to our podcast, and listen, Linda, listen to what we say. But yes, that's why we stock rice and beans. Just, I mean, I'm just saying. Me too. I can my own beans, period. I can dried bean and rice, or and rice and water. I can beans and water, no seasoning, nothing. And I have it on my shelf for when I need to use it. It's healthier for you. Just saying. See, I'm not lying to y'all, y'all. I'm just saying. Right? Okay, let me just say that I will look at a teenager now, like because y'all know I'm up in the aging, and I got a role in the Nutcracker at our local theater. So I'm in the Nutcracker, and it's a bunch of like early college kids and late high school kids, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, these kids were not that same size when I was in school, and it's because of the GMO. Just saying, just saying. Try really hard not to buy any. Me too. I really do. And I will say, I do have some videos because some people will say, Casey, you have some videos where you show it. Listen, it's convenient when I can't buy it. I have it just in case I run out of something. Don't kill me. I try not to, but sometimes I buy 1 or 2 cans from the store because it's convenient. That's why I dehydrate. Me too. Just saying. It's the best thing to have. Dehydrate it and then blend it. It's the best powder by far. Um, I thought you were calling me Twinkles. I was about to say, okay, but no Twinkies. Oh, I love Twinkies. Those are my favorite. I wish I could learn how to make those like homemade. You haven't, listen, email me off here. We need to talk salsa because the best salsa is homemade salsa. You sealed from the back that stay sealed and gamma. Yeah, there is one. I don't know the exact name of it. The ones that you're supposed to seal and leave it sealed. See, I can't leave it sealed because I like to go and check every 5 minutes. I'm that kind of person. Um, but yes, y'all, this has been a great chat tonight. And I hope that everyone that's in here right now, because I'm looking at how many people are in here, that you're going to come tomorrow to our morning radio show. Morning radio show. It starts at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Well, hello, Tony. You're the cool cat. You are the cool cat, Tony. Um, 10 a.m. Central or 10 a.m. Eastern, excuse me. Our radio show goes live, and we're going to be talking even more about all of the stuff they tell us we're not supposed to talk about, prepping and pantry prepping and grid down and bugging out and all that kind of stuff. And I'm so thankful that y'all came into my live tonight and listened to me rant and rave and bitch and moan about everything. Um, everything in my chat tonight, and I hope you do. Yes, thank you. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up when you come in. I hope everyone have a good night, and check my community page because tomorrow are live with me from Ormsby Farm, Andale from Andale Homestead, Alicia from Country Mama Musing, and Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch. We will be going live for the radio show, and you won't want to miss it. So, y'all have a wonderful night. God bless y'all. And I love every single one of y'all. So, see y'all tomorrow. Bye.